Good evening, everyone. Ricky back, and tonight we're going to talk about who I believe to be the worst character in One Piece. And before we start the video, I just want to say that I do not discourage anyone from actively liking this character. However, I would like to give my own hot take upon him. Señor Pink, the biggest piece of trash to hit Dressrosa since Doflamingo. And I do mean that. He is quite literally the worst character in One Piece. He gets glazed incredibly hard, overpraised by the fans for being so hard-boiled, so manly. Please. I genuinely hate it. It's one of the only things that Oda has done in a manga panel that actively makes me want to vomit. So to get started with Mr. Pink, let's talk about his backstory. When he met his wife, Russian, they fell in love practically at first sight. They had a brief little interaction. In the manga, it's a little bit less clear-cut than the anime, I think, if I remember correctly, but he immediately puts on a facade. Couple masks, if you will. If someone who doesn't know you, right, has no clue who you are, doesn't know that this isn't your face, what's to stop you from lying to them, right? So, Mr. Pink, Senor Pink, he went ahead and lied to his wife about being a pirate. He told her that she was a banker. Now, one of the first things she says to her is that she hates pirates. So, obviously, you can understand, you can have like 1% sympathy for why he did lie to her, because she probably wouldn't have given him the time of day. However, remember, this is a guy who claims to be so hard-boiled and so manly. The most manly thing you could do in that moment is stop lying. Immediately. You didn't have to, you could have lied to her maybe the first 2 days, but at some point you should have come clean before you got her pregnant with a kid that you then disappeared on, right? So here's the backstory synopsis. After they fall in love and he continues to lie about her, being a banker, one day he suddenly disappears. That same day, his child falls ill, Gimlet. Gimlet dies because she is not able to get him to the hospital on time. Now, I'm not saying anything about man speed or woman speed, but Senor Pink was hanging out with the Don Quixote pirates, right? As in, he is a little bit better than the average human, a little bit stronger, a little bit faster, right? Furthermore, when did he get his devil fruit? If he already had it, right? Just saying, if he already had the devil fruit, he could have swimmed his ass to the hospital at light speed. So let's not play any games. He wasn't there for his child. He lied to his wife. As a result of both not being able to be there for his child passed away. Highly unfortunate. Nobody deserves to have that happen. However, when she smacks him, saying, "How dare you treat me this way? I called the bank. The day you disappeared, I found out you weren't a banker. You never worked there. You disappeared. Gimlet died. This is your fault." He tries to get her to stay. He can't muster the courage or the balls to just apologize to her and explain that yes, he's a pirate. So what happens? She runs out on a stormy night and gets hit by a landslide. This landslide renders her into a vegetative state permanently. No smiling, no talking, nothing, no movement. Only then, and only then, after all of this has happened to his wife, who did not deserve any of this, then does he decide to gaslight her by joking around and wearing Gimlet's bonnet. Sure, Gimlet took after him. Sure, it was a cute gesture to make her smile. However, do you understand that a person in a vegetative state does not have full cognitive awareness? We don't know for sure if they do or do not. Maybe some of them do. Maybe Russian did. But that's up for interpretation and not confirmation. But what we can confirm is that he only started caring after it all happened. Do you understand the gravity of caring about someone after you've already ruined their life? I would like to explain it in details correlating to my life. In previous video, I did the Kyros video, and yes, I got sappy in there because it's a very sappy video. Kyros has a horrible backstory, and it's very hard to talk about in relation to my life. However, I was never able to look my girlfriend in the face and continue lying to her. I left my criminal lifestyle, okay? My criminal lifestyle. I left it. I'm not saying I'm not an anime character, you know what I mean? I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it was pretty easy to do because I was in love with her, okay? There's a difference between loving someone and possessing them. He wanted to possess her. He did not truly love her, because if he did, he would have left. Now, there is an argument to be made that he could not just leave the Don Quixote family. Who cares? You know who does whatever the fuck he wants? Luffy. Anyways, Senor Pink is a bad character. He is brutally overglazed by the fan base for being manly. But again, the furthest thing from being manly is a liar. Someone who cannot be there when it matters. Do you know how many times I have missed a Dungeons and Dragons session with my friend group because my child is sick? Sometimes people don't even believe me that my kids get sick, you know? They get sick. Children get sick. It's like their defining trait. You put a kid next to 6 kids, boom, they're all sick. That's just what happens, right? So to not only lie and to not be there and then to get overly glazed by the fan base, it enrages me on another level, because it's kind of just like the whole, and I hesitate to bring this up, but like Yamato Kiku thing. Like, a lot of people choose Yamato over Kiku, despite Kiku truly being a trans character and Yamato being like soft confirmed to not be. So that being said, you know, refer to Yamato as a he or she, that's your choice. I go by what the manga says, and I think the last time they referred to her, it was a boy, so, you know, just saying. And then, you know, the Viva card coming out and saying that Yamato's a girl, just the whole debacle, it really ruined the fan base. However, back to Senor Pink. I don't understand, and I'm not asking to understand. I don't care. I just want to let you know that I think he's a bad character. Tragedy does not equal sympathy, and honestly, I don't find his backstory to be tragic. I find it to be very pathetic, because the simple solution to not having all of this happen is to be there for your wife, because at the very least, your son would have passed away, but you would have been there, telling the truth and being an honorable man. So, like, Russian wouldn't have left him, and she wouldn't have been smacked by a goddamn landslide. Do you follow what I'm saying? Because all I'm saying is I genuinely hate it, like, so much. Going into a comment section, and it's like the top 10 most tragic backstories, and number 1 is Señor Pink. Oh! Don't do that. Like, and again, go ahead, like the character, but like, I just don't agree with his backstory being tragic. It's pathetic, if anything, and it's really upsetting sometimes to see characters get glossed over. I mean, like, Inuarashi and Nekomamushi, like, they were getting beat on the shores of Wano before Odin saved their lives. But then, when we meet them in Zou, what happens? Like, first of all, Nekomamushi doesn't even just get his hand cut off. Like, he gets like 6 spears or something to the gut just so his followers, his people, wouldn't take any more pain. Like, a lot of people do like the Raizo is safe moment, but I can show you with infinite proof that more people will talk about Senor Pink being hard-boiled and a true man's man. And another thing to bring up, I am dressed as Frankie right now. I have a Frankie tattoo. It's available all over the channel. I don't feel like taking this off right now. I got many Frankie figurines. I have Frankie's entire family, minus Iceberg down here. I have Granny Kokoro. I'll take a picture of it. I have Granny Kokoro. I have 2 forms of Yokozuna, and I have Tom. All right? And Chimney. And Gombe. Okay? So, I love Frankie. The one thing I don't love about Frankie, and it's the only thing I don't love about Frankie, is this stupid camaraderie he has with Senor Pink. I was so relieved for about 30 seconds when Jinbei, Seraphim, S-Shark had the swim fruit, and I was like, yes, this can only mean one thing. He got killed. Nah, green blood. Goddamn you, Vegapunk, and your smart-ass brain. I have a Vegapunk figurine too somewhere. I think it's up here. It's upsetting. He's the one character I was like, yes, kill him. But, you know, I suppose everyone deserves a second chance, right? However, I just don't think Mr. Pink was one that deserved it. I don't even like calling him Senor Pink. I truly hate him. Like, I truly do. There are a few characters that I actually hate. Like, Doflamingo might be one of them, because he is actually just a horrible, horrible, irredeemable person. But that's like what I like in a villain. The problem is that people confuse like redeeming traits and non-redeeming traits, right? So nobody looks at Doflamingo like a redeemable person. We all like him because he's a well-dressed asshole, right? Let's not play games. But Mr. Pink has this odd fan base, this weird circle of people that, again, go ahead and like him. But this weird circle of people looks at him as someone redeemable. He's not, and he never will be. You lied to your wife. The moment she needed you to be there the most, you weren't there, and the son passed away for it. Arguably, like I said, if this mofo had the devil fruit already, he could have gotten that kid to the hospital with light speed. Again, don't play games. If he had it, it would have happened that way, and the kid would be alive, just by simply being there. There's a saying that some people say that half of fatherhood is just showing up. And god damn it, if I haven't learned that recently, now that I've been home a lot more with my children. My girls look me in the eyes. My boy, he looks me in the eyes. They're happy to see me. Just tonight, I was watching Spider-Man 2 with my family, and Anya looked over at me, my middle child, and she was like, "Why aren't you sitting next to me?" That filled me with a lot of love. You know who wouldn't have had that moment because he would be too busy being a criminal pirate? Señor Pink. So, to close out this video before I rant for 20 more minutes about the exact same thing over and over again, Mr. Pink is a trash character. He wore a mask, and he pretended to be someone who he wasn't. This led to his whole life crashing before his eyes, and he attempts to care by dressing as his son, which to me is gaslighting his vegetative wife. Because she can't actually tell you, like, just because it makes her smile doesn't mean it doesn't fill her with pain. Okay? So, think about that before you comment some crazy shit on this video. Anyways, I'm Merch Hunter Ricky. I don't like Mr. Pink, but it's okay if you do. Sorta, kinda. Have a good night.